Hey everyone, it's video time again. Super exciting. I wanted to talk about freedom for a little bit. I talk about freedom a lot, and that is the end game of the biblical message. And I realize that some people may be watching that, and I even have the tension in my own mind sometimes, as in, all right, if we're not supposed to follow rules and laws and be good, and it's not about behavior, it's about freedom, and then why not just throw out the whole idea of God at all? And if we throw out the idea of God to begin with, then that isn't that ultimate freedom? That's total freedom. All right, let's talk about that for a minute. I recently heard somebody give an analogy of the difference between a house and a home. So a house, it's a physical material structure. You can see the wood, you can see how it's laid out, you can look at the architecture, you can look at the floor plan, the foundation, what's it made of, concrete, okay. You can have all that information, it will tell you absolutely nothing about the people that live there, or if anybody ever lived there at all. A home is the relationships, the living things in there, the pets, the little league, the arguments, the holidays, the food. This is a home. A house is just the material structure. Now, let's say that's kind of how I guess I look at it, as in, is it really freedom if we just are kind of like we are chemical stuff, just chemicals. My brain is just chemicals firing in different ways to a universe that doesn't give a shit about us. It's dangerous, it's hard to survive. You cannot survive a few miles up in the atmosphere out of Earth without, extra stuff, oxygen, whatnot. The universe does not care. And even worse, as Neil deGrasse Tyson says, it's always trying to kill you. It's hard to survive as a biological creature in this universe. So, let's say there's a structure that scientists find one day. It's made of marble. It looks like it used to be a house. And they go around, it's made of marble and lead. They do a bunch of experiments on it. They try to figure out what's going on. The question is, did anybody ever live there? And then they come to the conclusion scientifically that there's no evidence that anybody ever lived there. There's nothing. But we have this structure. Okay, then they see a plaque out front that says, Albert Einstein lived here. And some of the scientists are like, holy crap, Albert Einstein lived here? Then the other scientists are like, we just did 1 million tests. There is no evidence whatsoever that anybody ever lived here, much less Einstein. But then somebody brings up a biography of Einstein, and it says, well, he lived in Switzerland. Are we in Switzerland? Yes. Is this Bern? Yes, this is Bern. There's a patent office right down there. It says he lived there. But the scientists on the other camp would look at that guy and still say, that all may be so, but there's no evidence. So we can't say with any certainty, or we can't even say at all. It was irresponsible of us to say that anybody lived here, much less Albert Einstein. So this is kind of how I look at the Bible. There's a book that has all this information about the possibility that there's a God that actually loves people and interacts in human history, and things mean stuff and things don't mean things, and some things are good and some things are bad. But if we do chemical scientific tests on the universe right now, there would be no way to tell that anything that is claimed in the Bible as far as God existing or not is actually true. But the thing is, did Albert Einstein actually live in that house? Well, let's say he did, but there's no way to tell by science. But but the other people are like, he could have lived there. I mean, even the people with just a biography of him can't say for sure, of course. But here's the other thing. So we go from just other inferences. Here's the other thing about freedom and whether God exists or not, and whether having no God is a better freedom than having freedom with a God that exists. 300 years from now, anybody who's alive right now and watching or listening to this, anyone who is alive in 300 years from now, whether you lived as Hitler or Mother Teresa is not going to matter to you or to anyone else. Let's say there's no God. 300 years from now, it won't matter to you or anybody else who's alive right now, whether you lived like Hitler or Mother Teresa. Now, it could matter in the sense that it's like maybe somebody that Hitler killed would have cured cancer. Now then you could say, oh, well, that matters down through the ages. It matters what we do because of how we leave things for other people, or whether we trash the earth environmentally or not, these kind of things. And then you could be like, yes, it matters. Okay, let's imagine 1 billion years in the future. Now, it definitely doesn't matter whether you were Hitler or Mother Teresa. Let's go into the heat death of the universe that scientists say is coming. Maybe it is in billions and billions of years from now. Man, then it really doesn't matter. And maybe in some sense that's good news to some people. Maybe that is a type of freedom in a kind of bizarre existential Sartre kind of John Paul Sartre kind of way. Like, man, hopefully my actions won't matter because I struggle to do good stuff. So it'd be great if all the bad stuff that I did didn't mean anything. It'd be awesome. I'd get a pass. But man, look, which way it leads to just total despair. I mean, I get it that people can live with this idea that there's no God and there's a heat death of the universe and the universe is uncaring. And that's either a strange comfort to them or that's just a nice, that's a really cool rebellion. I don't know, but to me, it's despairing and it's rough. Does that mean that we have a need to invent God where one doesn't exist? No. We should be accurate to all the information we have. But kind of like our house and home analogy and the biography of Einstein that somebody brings up while they're doing chemical tests on this structure, there are alternative viewpoints to just an uncaring universe that's just material. And we can, I don't have the answer for how not to be in conflict with everybody as far as those who say God exists and and those who say that God doesn't. That's been a huge conflict over human history, and I think if God actually exists, he'd be pretty sad about that. So, all right. I think I've gone on enough. There's two different views of freedom, one where God exists and one where there is no God. I kind of think about it this way, and I'm just presenting it. You can think whatever you want, and it's fine, but I just wanted to kind of address that tension and freedom. So, okay, peace out.